Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Andre. Just want to give an update on a microdiscectomy surgery I had, L4 and 5 disc on the 12th of February. So it's actually 3 weeks today. I think I'm making this video for two reasons. One is so I can document sort of how I'm feeling myself, to keep a track. And then I think a second way is to sort of share with anyone who's interested on what my experience has been like, quick history, how I got the injury, where I'm at, and then just an update on symptoms post surgery, how you're feeling generally overall. So I think kick things off. I think I had a herniated disc for the first time in 2010, so I was in my mid-20s, and I was in really good shape at the time. I used to go to the gym a lot, used to live very carefully, didn't do anything too crazy, just pretty active guy. Like to lift my weights, like to run a few times a week, like to play a bit of football, that sort of stuff. I actually happened playing tag rugby, which is a non-contact sport, but like most of these injuries, it doesn't just come on at that one time. I say there was just like potentially an underlying condition there, or maybe just I'd done something wrong prior to that, whatever, who knows. So it came for the first time playing that. I was really sore, as you know. It kind of went straight for the nerve. Got an MRI. It was a herniated disc, L4, L5, reasonably big one. I'll attach a picture up of it here to show you my most recent one. But from what I remember as well, the 2010 MRI was pretty much the same. And essentially, I spoke to a surgeon in 2010, got their advice. It was like, look, yeah, you have a herniated disc, but at the time they were saying that a lot of people have this, and sometimes it can be asymptomatic, which means you don't really get symptoms. And I had really bad symptoms at the time, but it kind of went after about from what I remember, it was probably about 3 weeks to a month. I definitely missed 4 or 5 days of work, or maybe it was 3 or 4 days of work when it first happened in 2010. Anyway, we're 2019 now. Long and short of it was, it used to kind of come back every couple of years. No trauma or impact had caused it. As I said, for the first time, I happened playing tag rugby. I just grabbed someone's tag, and then I noticed my back was really sore. The reason why I was including the gym bit is a lot of people say at the time that it happens to people who aren't in shape, or maybe they need to do more strength and conditioning, whatever. And I'm just kind of giving my experience, because at the time when it first happened, I was in pretty good shape. And yeah, that's just the way it is. It just happened, and I was mid-20s, which is, well, from reading online, it's not that young, but in my opinion, that was kind of young to have a herniated disc in your back, as you probably know. So every couple of years it used to come back. Sometimes it came back one time in 2012. I was in the gym, I was lifting a light weight. I didn't do anything crazy. I was just picking up a weight off the rack, a dumbbell, that I could easily manage, and I just noticed a twinge in my back, and I was like, fuck, that was sore. Put it back down, left the gym, realised, okay, that's probably going to be another 3 or 4 days. I used to take an antibiotic called difene at the time when it happened, and that would usually manage it quite well. And then that flare up in 2012 was probably another week. I think I missed a week of work. And then most of the time I knew I could feel a little bit of a sensation in my back, but I could still do all my activities. I could still be very active and whatnot. Next time after 2012 was probably 2014. It came back again. I can't even remember the exact time. As you know, that exact example I can't specifically remember, but yeah, it came back anyway. That time it was a little bit strange. It was causing numbness and major sciatica down my left leg. I had the sciatica the previous 2 times before that, in 2010 and 2012, but then it would go away. 2014, when it came back again, it was really odd, because part of my leg was going numb and I had foot drop, and that that was 4 years after the original time it happened. So I got another MRI, and I was like, what's going on? What do I do about this? And bear in mind, I was fine 90% of the time, apart from those instances when it would just flare up and then go away after 3 to 4 weeks, sometimes a week on each of those occasions. So Yeah, in 2014 anyway, I went to see 3 different surgeons with an MRI, got their opinions. I pretty much went to most of the neurosurgeons you can go to in Ireland. There's a good few of them. I got a lot of different opinions because it's really important to get a different opinion, educate yourself on this matter, get all the facts. Some of them I found were really sort of like black and white, which is kind of good. You know, they're not here to tell you what you want to hear. But some were also, in my opinion, like quite quick to say, yeah, you just need to go get surgery. Others were like, if you're not in, major pain, you can go to work, you're grand. So you got to get the balance. Now, I was in a position where I was able to go to these different surgeons. I'd probably recommend you get those different opinions as well, right? Just for your own benefit. So that was 2014. Anyway, long story short, 2014, that was probably the most severe case of it. To that point, because as I was saying, I had foot drop, my leg was going numb, my back was sore. But one thing I always noticed every time it flared up, whether it was in 2010, 2012 or 2014, I could notice an improvement after a few days. It doesn't mean I was perfect, but I could notice after a flare up, I could notice an improvement. And I was like, you know what, I don't need to get surgery because it's improving. So, people get injuries, it's the way it is. You're going to be active, mid-20s to late 20s. Maybe it's just what happens. Some people have dodgy knees, dodgy ankles. You get a sore back, big deal. So, it was quite good at just getting on with it and managing it conservatively, which I did. And then I think after 2014, it might have come back again. 2016, another flare up again. I think I was putting on my shoes that time. Wasn't crazy bent over. I was meant to go down to my friend's house. It was a Saturday evening. And I was just putting on my shoe. And I was standing on my left leg and I pulled up my right leg to just put on my shoe. Bent over ever so slightly, but it's a normal body motion. And I felt it go again. And I was like, hey buddy Dave, I'm not going to be able to get down to your house tonight. I missed a week off work again. So for me, that was up to 2016. It would come, flare up, it would tend to go away, and I could manage it conservatively to a point. I think 2014, as I was saying, was probably the freakiest, because when you start getting foot drop and you start going numb, that also took about 6 weeks to go away, 6 to 7 weeks, and then the numbness actually went away. I was just about to get surgery after I spoke to those 3 surgeons at the time, and I said, you know what, I'm going to try one more thing. I still work in Dublin, in town, and I was living quite close to town at the time. It was about a 7k bike cycle at the time from one of the villages nearby. Return, I think it was, a return trip. And I said, you know what, I'm going to do 3.5k in, 3.5k out in the bike, and I'll be grand. Fine, I'll give it a go. I was able to do that on the bike, and my symptoms actually went away again. And I actually, for whatever reason, feel that helped with my numbness going away. I was convinced that the bit of disc that had protruded and was seen on MRIs had, at that stage of the game, my body had just done something with it. So you read examples online about like how sometimes if your disc herniates, it can either like reabsorb back in, or potentially your body can fix it or whatever. I was like, okay, cool, my body's definitely fixed that, because that was the worst one. It was 2016 or 2014 at the time. I was like, that's the worst flare up I've had, and now it's gone. As I said, then the one in 2016, I was out for a week, kind of went away. So basically, long story short, I've always been conscious of it from 2010, but I've been, touch wood, mostly okay up to that point. I think where it kind of went up a level was most recently. So I'm a reasonably active guy. I like to do stuff a few times a week, exercise 3 or 4 hours a week, and I try to do it most weeks. And I was doing a little bit of boxing just before Christmas in 2019 in October, and I was doing like box jumps. So it's like I kind of do a bit of boxing occasionally in like a CrossFit type gym. It's mainly bag work, and you do lots of core work and flapjacks and push-ups and twists and planks and all this sort of stuff. And I was like, you know what, like, it's a pretty good fitness thing, I'm going to keep that up. It was fine, it was great. I had done it for a few months before to that. And then in October I was doing box jumps. I was pretty tired, and I jumped up on the box, and this was halfway through a workout, and I was pretty exhausted. And obviously maybe my form was sloppy or whatever, but the same back issue flared up again. I kind of just put up my hand to the guys in the class. I was like, look, I'm going to have to go. I'm going to get sorted out. I'll be out of action for a week. I'll probably see you in 2 weeks, sort of thing. I was out of work for that week again, and that was October, so 2018 just gone. Flared up, and I was like, okay, look, I know the drill here. The back flares up every couple of years. It sticks around for a week or more, depending, and then it goes away. I'm fine. And that was grand. I was like, okay, whatever. It's just my thing. It will go away. And then in January, I woke up randomly. It was the 19th of January. It was Saturday, and I was about to play. Well, I was signed up to go play like 9 holes of golf with a friend of mine, and I woke up that morning and I was like, back just feels a little bit off, feels a bit stiff, and I was like, well, you know what? Anyone with a back who's ever had a disc issue, you're always going to wake up a little bit stiff sometimes, and you know, maybe you're just like getting older, whatever. You're just going to have to deal with it. So I got up and I was like, maybe I'll loosen up and it'll be fine. I played my 9 holes of golf, didn't actually play that badly. Got home that afternoon, Saturday 19th of January, I was like, fuck, can't move. I was bent over to the side, it had flared up again, and I was like, oh, what is going on? Why has this come back again? Because normally it's been every 2 years from 2010 roughly. This time, the most recent time it had happened was October 2018. So when it came back again, January 2019, I was like, this is ridiculous. I've never had it come back so close again, and it's not even like, 3 months later. What's going on? I missed a week of work again in January 2019, and I was like, what's going on here? Took the tablets, noticed that it wasn't improving. I was taking difene, they're anti-inflammatories. I think they're more for muscle than back disc anyway, but these were the things that used to help me out. And my whole condition just got a whole lot worse. So essentially what happened was, from about the 19th of January up until my surgery on the 12th of February, it was just like intense pain. To be really specific, it was like chronic left leg nerve pain, sciatica right down my leg. Like just way worse than anything I've had before that. And that's when I really was like, there's something really wrong here. And not to mention, when it actually flared up again on the 19th of January, or over that time frame, it just got worse. There was no way that was going to go away. The symptoms were getting worse. I was waking up in the morning like a week or two before my actual surgery date, and I was like, God, this is just chronic. I'd had to get up an hour and a half before just to be able to stand on my foot. I normally get a lift to the train station every morning. I couldn't do that, so I was walking, limping, like 3.5 kilometers or whatever, maybe 4, down to the train station. And I was just like, my head at this stage was so messed up. I was just like, I don't really know what I'm going to do, because normally this comes back, it flares up for a week, and then I'm okay, and I'm able to be active again. It's now been, at this point, close to 3 weeks. This is what I was thinking. I was like, or 2 weeks, 3 weeks after it came up again in January, I was like, it's still at me. I'm like, what am I going to do? The condition was terrible. Like, it was by far the worst pain I've had. I was practically screaming in agony in mornings, and I was like, this is just not right. I was taking like over-the-counter sort of anti-inflammatories and stuff, no improvement, whereas before something would calm it, and I was like, this is insane. Anyway, got my MRI, went to see another neurosurgeon, and I was like, you know what? In my head, I was like, at this stage, I'm going to go and get the surgery. I was like, I had it set in my head. And anyway, got the surgery, went and saw the neurosurgeon, and he was like, yeah, it's a pretty debilitating condition. Went through the history, told him it first happened in 2010. We looked at the MRI on the screen. He had a couple of different viewpoints of it, and was like, yeah, so look, it's quite tight in there, blah, 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 blah. We had scheduled me in to get an injection to see if that would help. I probably should have said at the time, here, listen, forget the injection. I'm in serious pain. Let's just go ahead and get the surgery. Thankfully, I had private health insurance, which was great. Really, really important to have that over here. And anyway, I accepted. I was like, okay, look, you know what? You're the expert. You said injection. Let's try getting an injection. they wanted me to have an injection scheduled from the time I could get an appointment. So this was around the 6th of February, I think, at this stage, when I'd seen the neurosurgeon, and they were like, he had said, go get the injection. The next appointment date I could get for the injection was the 19th of February. So I didn't realise that until I'd left my meeting with the surgeon, and then I had to ring another place, another hospital, another private clinic over here to say, hey, can I get one of these injections? I have a referral letter, blah, blah, blah. They came back with the 19th. Because of the pain I was experiencing, I was like, to myself, I was like, I'm screwed. There's no way I can put up with this. And I was really confused because I didn't know what to do. Because there's no instruction manual for this. It's like, do you just push for surgery and go get it? Or maybe it will go away? You don't know. It's quite confusing. It can be quite like tormenting in your head, especially when you're trying to figure out what the best thing to do in this situation is. Especially when you're in so much pain, you're not thinking straight anyway. Anyway, I lasted about 2 or 3 days after that appointment. And then the Saturday I sent an email to my surgeon. I was like, look, I'm in serious pain here. Is there any way I can get fast tracked in? They wrote back. They got me in for surgery the following Tuesday. They were like, yeah, look, this has gotten pretty bad based on what you're saying. The pain in my leg was terrible. I just couldn't do anything really properly at all. I couldn't even sit in the car. And then from the time, it had herniated on the 19th of January when I was playing that round of golf to the time I had gone to the surgeon, it just kept herniating. Like the back kept feeling like it was getting better and then just going again. I was like, this is it, gone. Anyway, so I sent that email to the surgeon. I got in for surgery. I went in on the 12th of February into a hospital over here in Ireland, and I had a really successful surgery. It was a microdiscectomy L4/5. I'm now 3 weeks to the day post that surgery, and I think, the long and short of it is, I'm glad I got the surgery, for sure. I woke up immediately after and I was like, I've no leg pain. I think everyone's going to probably wake up like that because you've got so many drugs in your system anyway, and you've been on an anaesthetic, whatnot. But yeah, you feel visibly weaker. I think my first initial symptoms on day 1 after the surgery was like, what's gone on in my back? Like, it honestly felt like someone had taken a piece out, and I was like, God, I can't balance properly. But anyway, it's just your biomechanics probably getting used to things, your body getting used to what's happened. So for the first week after that, I had pretty much no pain, just the wound on the back, which you'd expect. It was pretty sore, but absolutely zero in comparison to the pain you have from nerve pain before that, as anyone on YouTube or if you're Googling online will tell you. And yeah, I mean, now in week 3, I think week 2, what I noticed after about 8-9 days after surgery is you kind of get I'm getting nerve pain down my left leg again. It's probably, out of 10, it's probably a 3. I kind of have a tingle in my leg now. I'm looking pretty normal and comfortable to you guys. So I'm very, very comfortable compared to what I was. From what I understand, the nerve is just healing. It takes time to heal. After the herniated disc portion has been removed, you've got breathing space again for your nerve. As far as I know, I think that's all it is. By no means do I think I've herniated. The exercise program that they give you over in Ireland anyway, I notice it's really different to some of the stuff I've seen from videos from guys in the States and whatnot, and girls in the States, is, it's 6 weeks, no bending, lifting, twisting. Don't go to work for those 6 weeks, regardless of what your job is. Focus on getting better, because essentially when they take the portion of the disc that's protruding out, because there's a lack of blood flow in the back, is my understanding, it doesn't heal up. So you need it to heal kind of I don't know if it's scar tissue or what, but you need it to heal itself, and that takes a lot of time to do. So they say 6 weeks. I say it's probably from what I've read, it's probably about 3 months before it's properly, healed up quite well, and then I think it just gets stronger month after month after month. But I'm a reasonably active guy. I want to get back to doing my activities. What are my activities I want to do? My goals at the end of this are I want to be able to, run 5K a few times a week if I want. I want to be able to go back to my boxing classes that I like to do 2 or 3 times a week. I probably won't go back to boxing group classes where like an instructor's there and giving out all the different sort of things you should do in a class, because I'm probably going to have to get private classes one-on-one to say, look, I have a sore back, I can't do some things, I can't do this, so I'm probably going to have to get a bit more tailored training. What else do I want to do? I start my physiotherapy 6 weeks after. I'm not able to start at any time before, so essentially I start my physiotherapy on I think it's the 26th or 27th of March. I'm signed up with a physiotherapist who works hand in hand with my surgeon. He's a spinal physiotherapist, so I'm really excited about, getting stuck in there. I'm going to go in and say, look, what do you want me to do? What do you recommend? What do I need to change? And I'll probably just look to keep improving from that point on, to be totally honest with you. I think, as I was kind of saying before, my goal is just I want to be able to exercise 3 or 4 times a week, pain-free. I want to be active, I want to be healthy. I want to run, I want to box, I want to play golf still. I have to see if that's okay. I don't know. I think it should be okay. Generally, from what I've read online, most people are saying you can go back to sports, you can go back to anything within 3 months. A lot of the stuff I've seen online has alarmed me for 2 reasons. I think if you're searching stuff about like microdiscectomy on Google search, you come across some really unfortunate stories on spinal forms and whatnot, and it's quite extreme. And I think that's probably another reason why I wanted to make this as well, because if you're anything like me, you've probably spent close to 100 hours, depending on how long you're waiting for your surgery or your recovery, reading up about all this stuff. You're trying to read every bit of information you can. And you come across some really extreme stuff. It's very unfortunate, it's quite sad, but I just wanted to kind of put it out there and say, look, 3 weeks on from a microdiscectomy surgery, I'm feeling very confident. Very optimistic kind of guy anyway, but I feel pretty good. I have 3 out of 10 nerve pain at the moment. It still annoys me. I think my biggest challenge is patience. I'm really, really impatient, and I'm really bad patient insofar as I want to get back doing stuff as quickly as possible. But to be honest with you, I have not broken a single rule that they've told me to do, which is just like 6 weeks, no bending, no lifting, no twisting, a couple of walks, 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, and that's it. You lie down when you're tired, you really listen to your body. I think that's probably what I'm going to take from this moving forward. I'm always going to pay attention to my body. I think when you're coming in your 20s, I never had any injuries in my 20s. And I was what I would consider myself, you kind of feel a bit invincible, because you can run around, you can go out with your friends, you can play football without stretching, you can go to the gym, you can get in really good shape, you can go out drinking, you can do all this stuff. And you don't really need to pay too much attention to yourself, generally speaking, because you're just young and you're healthy and you can get away with it. So I think there's an awful lot of things I've taken from this that I'm going to implement. Definitely going to set a foundation for a healthier lifestyle. I'm sure there's things I can improve there. Obviously exercising, being careful what you eat, being smart, warming up, cooling down, not pushing yourself to do things that, you could do when you were 18 and thinking you can still do it now. Like, I'm a big believer that you can still do everything you want to do, so you just have to be really, really careful. I think that's pretty much it now, 3 weeks to date. I think if there's any questions, put any comments below. I'm also going to share with you a few people whose videos I liked watching on YouTube to get different perspectives. And anything else I think is useful that I found useful, I'll put in the description below. But that's pretty much it for now. So yeah, I'll probably give an update again. So this is 3 weeks. I'll probably give an update again around the 5-week mark, just to see how things are going then. I might even do them before. And if anything of note happens where I've either got more pain, less pain, or just something different comes up, I'll let you know. But so far, really, really happy I got the surgery. Yeah, don't put up with pain. Well, actually, one thing that's interesting for you guys is my body had actually tried to fix my herniated disc itself. So when my surgeon completed the operation, he told me that he told me that it was really, really tight in there. And I asked why, and he's like, your body pretty much, from what I understand, had tried to sort of fix it. There could have been a bit of fluid, maybe a little bit of bone or whatever, I'm not sure. But it tried to fix it, it didn't, and ended up just making it worse. So I'm a big fan. I ran away from surgery for as long as I could, and it just hit me like a brick. It was like, you've got no other choice but surgery, which is kind of typical of life, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, I'm really happy I got it done. Any questions at all, just let me know. Yeah, 25 minutes. Hopefully someone finds this useful. Cheers. Thanks a lot.